Good morning. You're probably wondering what's going on here, who is this guy, and where's Reggie at? Well, to give you some clarity, my name is Cole. I am the marketing promotions coordinator here at Reggie's Motorworks and the Noble Mechanic, which is our sister shop that services everything that is not European based. So with that being said, I'm the one that takes care of all the social media, all the video, all the photo, and all the graphic work here at all three of our locations. What I want to do today is kind of start a little series we've been wanting to go over, which is, highlighting some of the vehicles that, us as employees have built and, worked on our own time that are kind of our passion projects. And today I want to go over a big one for Reggie's, and that would be the Varmint. Now, the Varmint is Reggie's personal track car that he has been building and driving for close to 5 to 6 years now. There was a build of this on the channel and it got to where the engine was in and then you never saw an update after that. So I wanted to kind of give you guys, closure on what has gone on in that time and let you see what has fully become of the car and go over, everything that Reggie's put into it. So let's go out here, talk with Reggie and get an idea. So we're here today to talk about this E30, which is owned by Reggie Stewart. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So I wanted to kind of go over this because I know you kind of built this on the channel initially, and then kind of with running all the businesses and that got a little sidetracked and it hasn't been updated. So I think a lot of people just kind of want to know what's kind of fully going on with the car now that it's done, and it's been living its life as a track car for what, 5 years now?
5 years, yeah.
So
yeah, 2016 was a busy year. The initial swap I did in 90 days, including filming all of it, and then when it came to editing, I just ran out of steam.
Perfect.
So she's been running almost exactly the same ever since 2016. It's been a very reliable, fun track car. With a few weird things that have come up, like I had to replace a fuel tank early on due to too much fuel pressure at the engine. But otherwise, it's been great.
Perfect. So, engine-wise, this is an S52, correct?
Yes, it's an S52 out of a 1998 M3 automatic convertible. So that engine never got to live until it got in this car.
Well, I see, and I know you've done a few things to like the oiling system and that to keep it more alive and that, like I know wire nutting the oil pump and changing that out. So
yes, yeah, the oil pump has a baffle in it. It's also got a, like you said, safety wire the nut so it doesn't back off the oil pump. Common problem with these engines. Another modification I did after the first year of running it was it's always had a Zionsville Autosport radiator in it, but this is the second one. This one has a cutout and mounting in the bottom for a Z3M Coupe oil cooler, and my oil temps were just too high before, so it does need an external oil cooler. And to run that, I have, I believe it's the S52 or S50 Euro oil filter housing. Then I've added the cap on the top to get ports for fuel, oil temp, and pressure.
Perfect. And then I guess kind of next going on to that side would be, what are we dealing with here for suspension and that?
It's Ground Control, awesome company to work with. I called them up, told them what I was doing, and they basically sent me a kit based on some of how I'm setting up the car. Up front, it made putting the 5-lug E36 hubs on, like complete bolt-on. For those who don't know, an E30 front strut is all one assembly with the hub. E36 bolts onto the hub. So they made a strut that has the geometry for an E30 that bolts onto an E36 hub. So 5-lug there. To get 5-lug in the back, I found, just digging through forums, a fellow in Indonesia that was making a bracket that allows me to put E46 rear brakes on the car.
Wow.
I use a Z4 hub with a stock bearing, and then the E46 I could choose between 325i and 330, but it's 325i, rear discs and caliper. Turns out that the caliper is the same as the E36 M3. There's just a different bracket between those two cars. So kind of a hodgepodge in the back, but it works really, really well.
And I'm guessing a lot more braking power compared.
Oh gosh.
And then have you done anything with the master cylinder to kind of help brake bias with the new brake setup?
Yes. So if you've ever messed or researched doing one of these 24 valve swaps, the factory booster doesn't fit with the intake manifold. So people slot them and move them over, and they use 320 brake boosters. They use all kinds of different things. This happens to be the brake booster and master cylinder out of a Porsche 944. Dwight at Zionsville Autosport had it laying around just to experiment with, so I'm the experimenter, and it has, I believe the brake bias probably still needs some adjustment, but overall it works really well. I have adequate pressure to get the car slowed down in a hurry.
That's awesome. Then I do see stud conversion as well.
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with the wheel bolts of BMWs of this age and current BMWs.
Yeah,
so.
when I want to rotate tires at the track, I don't want to juggle.
Yep. So we can go over kind of what the interior looks like in
Certainly, yeah. So when I first built this car, I didn't have my direction changed. Initially, I was going to leave an interior in it. I was debating on a roll bar or a cage. I took it to the track a couple times and realized, in fact, I even put air conditioning in it when I first built it. I was like, I'm going to just make this a track car. So at that point, I gutted everything. Just 2 race seats, one that fits me and one that fits any, whether it's an instructor or a student in the passenger seat. I had the roll cage guy in Akron, Ohio, do the cage, which turned out unbelievable. Like, this guy gets that cage up so tight to the ceiling and make sure I get to keep all of my space. I did take out, the E30 has about 40 pounds of steel holding the sunroof panel in. So I drilled all that out and pulled it, and then I fabricated the aluminum plug to replace that. So get all that high center of gravity weight out of the car.
Yeah. And you were talking about having that passenger seat for students and instructors. So you yourself are an instructor with Porsche Club of America, correct?
That's correct. Yep. I instruct a couple times a year with the local Porsche Club out at Putnam Park Road Course. It's fun to take somebody who, a student that might be in a really modern high horsepower car and put them in this good power to weight ratio car and show you can get around the track really fast without having 500 horsepower.
Understandable. Yeah, I think it's a great platform to show people, it doesn't need to be, all just high horsepower or that to get for track use. Sometimes something a little smaller works best. So, well, perfect. Well, thank you for the time today to go over that, and we'll keep kind of updating it as it goes on,
Awesome.
From here.
Thank you, Cole.
No problem.